what I can tell right now is a good chunk right now really doesn't, are not inhibited by their initial decisions. And it could be because, probably speaking for like the upper echelon that don't have like any financial burdens or anything as such. But what I've seen is they really want to step forth and try new things. Their satisfaction or, workplace, work-life balance, all that stuff. But current scenario, if you see, a lot of them are jumping more frequently.
We fell into a job role. Either we created our own passion or we found the passion later. I don't think we went in with the passion to that job. I can only say for myself, but many people, it's like an arranged marriage, isn't it? So you're put into that and then you start loving it.
I totally agree with what Gautam's saying. There's a lot of inspiration that comes from within the peer group that really helps you take those leaps, because you can see people who are very similar to you, your age, taking those, and you think, why can't I do it?
The system doesn't understand like GenAI yet. The people do. Like we are using GenAI to do our work, especially since we are implementing as consultants and we're trying to do things better in the sector. But the stakeholders we interact with, they don't really understand it yet. Customer relationship management, can it be fixed using Zoho? Finance issue, can it be fixed using Zoho? Is it on Zoho? Can Zoho fix it? No. Like the technology has a particular function, and it's either that we don't use technology at all, where's my physical file, or it is, is the technology a magic tool that can fix all of my problems? I feel like if he walked in like once a month and just had a conversation with everyone, it would be like a lot more valuable. Like we would be open to hearing his insights as well. Like I think maybe the more the generation gap is there, the mentorship like the kind of mentorship is probably what I'm looking for is different. Like I'm not looking for his help on how to manage my tasks day to day, because he'll probably tell me write it down in a book and then like check box or something. But like if he had maybe something like larger picture to talk about, which I get now and then, I think that is what I would want from like a person in that generation.
You have closer generations, they seem to be more open to hearing your opinions. I've had some very good managers and mentors across my jobs, and I've learned many things from them, but I'm not sure how many of them were willing to listen to feedback coming back from me and to sort of improve their sort of process. And then sort of, it's like a back and forth stream and sort of refine the mentorship process to get the most for both of us.
I then, sort of feed it back and we have a discussion. But at the same time, the person who is receiving it also needs to be sort of interested or is ready to accept that mentorship. When mentorship is given, when it's not required, it comes off in a wrong way. So the same person, I've spoken to my junior as well. So what she feels is that he's actually a bit condescending because he just keeps imposing his experiences on her.
I mean, I'm hearing two things thematically that you're kind of saying. One is around your appetite for micromanagement is extremely low. So it's part of the challenge from a mentoring standpoint is that you need to approach it from less of a micromanagey kind of like approach there, and really kind of that open communication aspect of it, that there is knowledge flowing both ways. And honestly, that if you're a good mentor, that should be the case. That's a no-brainer in my mindset, that the guru is for the most part right, and they were kind of like teaching us, and our job was to kind of take it. We haven't changed that mindset quite a bit. Maybe you're not tolerant of that.
I think one of the differences that we have seen, especially from us in this older generation to the younger generations, the access to information and knowledge for the younger generation is so vast compared to what we had when we started our careers. So we basically went into a job with very little, not understanding, I would say, the exposure that we had when we started our jobs compared to what you guys are starting. I think you have much more broader exposure, much more, information. It sounds like GAN when we are trying to tell you something, because you have already heard it in another YouTube video or a Instagram reel or something. You have heard that 100 times.
Mentorship is a two-way street. You have to have receptiveness. And obviously, yes, argument, you can argue, you can challenge, that's all there, but that should be in a much mutually respectful way. And that I don't see. I think it's Thunder vibe.
Absolutely.
How's younger generation interest to spirituality? I'm not talking about religion. Yeah, I'm saying spirituality.
If you as a person are not completely well, whether mentally or physically, you can't go back to work and expect to have the same level of output or efficiency. So I think it's very important to have other aspects. Is spirituality. Other people find things like in therapy or more therapeutic methods to do that. And I think that's an important aspect, because otherwise over years and years, these are these resentments and things that keep on piling up, and that's just going to leak over. And if you want to stay stable for a longer period of time, you kind of need to have these aspects handled.
Physical health and mental health is quite important. I think it's on the top of everyone's mind, even right now. And I think maybe that's also because of how more accessible information is, like whether it's like good nutrition or whether it's moving, or how, even that's linked to your mental health. And I think also I should mention how like maybe we're more open to like therapy and more structured working on yourselves also. And also to address spirituality, like I think by now most of like my peers have some sort of clarity upon like where they stand, whether this is their relationship to faith or what parts they might accept and what parts like they don't personally accept. Every time I mention work-life balance, my parents will say, but work is life. And life is also work. And if you can bring life into work, then you can bring work into life. Flexibility in the sense of like, if we are a team, like I want to be like not indispensable. Like if I have to take some time off, I want like the rest of the team or the workplace to be able to step up for me. I shouldn't be in the room providing no value just because I'm supposed to be there, or like you think that I should be working on weekends.
I've seen a lot of my friends are having unnecessary paranoia. They're only in their 20s and they're worrying about, say, their heart, not eating sugar, not even like overexerting in certain physical activities, saying it might affect their heart or something. I mean, so there is that aspect wherein they want to keep their health on top of it, but at the same time they're going into too much into let's call it edge cases, or something that never really happens or happens once in a blue moon. So people focus too much into that, and all WebMD, everyone just Googles the first thing that they can come up with, and then unnecessary paranoia is widespread. It is facilitated by their parents as well,
But I think the other side of that coin is that like everybody has a voice in the room, and we can choose to exercise that voice, which I think it takes more time, but it's probably better for like decision making. So I think like one part of that will be like, if I'm told to do something, I'm not going to just do it. I want to know why I'm being told to do it, and I want to discuss if this is the best way to do it or if there's a better way to do it. So I think it might come off like independence, but it's also a process of like collaboration, because it's two people coming together, and once I'm fully on board, because like I understand why this has to be done this way, and I'm like committed to it. So I think that probably also in the long term will work better when you have a bunch of self-motivated individuals.
So it's continuous updates, and it gets to a point wherein there's nothing really to update, but then it's a waste of all our times and nothing gets done. And so it's like you mentioned, there's no point of that discussion necessarily. Everybody knows what needs to be done. It's just you need to be allowed to be given that space to actually work it.
Well, from my understanding, and a lot of talking to a lot of my senior people I work with, is that if companies known to treat these employees unfairly, we tell each other and say, hey, don't work at these places if they're not going to treat us correctly. You should keep on moving until you find something which works there. And I think that's the luxury I guess us younger generation, or at least some of us have, and why we keep on moving, like how Gautam mentioned.
Like it all goes back to like how we talked about the two-way street and all that adjustment period. So as long as you are showing that you are willing to adjust, we will also do the same. So that is what like we can take away from this as well.
I think we should have another we should get a few more kids in the session, and we should have a follow-up.